Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this segment of the post-COVID series, brought to you by RCCG, sorry, Nottingham, powered by Voxnet Solutions. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of firefighting. And, and here with me are two very special guests. One, Sonny, Robert, and Jazz. So, Sonny, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name's Sonny Roberts. I'm born and bred in Nottingham, grew up in Clifton, live in Mapleague now. My substantive role is I'm a crew manager at Arnold Fire Station, so I respond out to emergencies whilst on shift from Arnold. But at the minute I'm on a year-long temporary role where I am supporting with the forthcoming recruitment process, and also I work and manage the positive action side of the service.
Thank you so much, Sonny. What about you, Jazz?
My name is Jazz Hare. I'm a watch manager substantively in Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service. I've been in the job now for 8.5 years. My predominant role is evaluation and assurance officer. And I work alongside Sonny when we have recruitment drives, and this is why I'm here today.
Thank you so much, Jazz. So today we are talking about recruiting for the fighting service. So do you want to talk more about the recruitment process?
Yeah, so the recruitment process itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, the first thing to understand with the recruitment process is it's not like any other recruitment process. It is a long process. So anybody that's thinking that, you know, you're going to apply tomorrow and then you'll have an answer by the end of next week, it's not like that. So the application itself is due to go live on the 24th of August. From that period, again, you'll be asked some questions. And then if you are shortlisted and sifted through that stage, you'll be then invited through to take part in some maths and English and a mechanical testing. This will all be done online, again, for COVID, so we can't have a large amounts of people within a hall or anything like that. So online, you'll be given a pass, a code, to go and conduct the maths, English and mechanical testing. Again, if you're successful from that stage, you then move on to the physical side, which is called the job-related test. So these are tests that are very much related to the job and the career that you'll be doing. So again, you'll be testing on your ability to lift a weight, your ability to run, ability to take instruction and act on that, how you work at height, how you work in confined space. All different types of tests, both physical, mental, and all different elements that you'll be tested for. If you're successful at that stage, then you move through to the interview stage. And again, that'll be an assessment centre. You'll have to do a presentation, a group exercise, and then obviously the interview with that. If you're successful at that stage, then you go for the official medical. On the back of that, if you're successful, that's when you'll be offered a placement at our training school. And the training school lasts for 12 weeks. Again, very intense, very hard. Certainly one of the most difficult things that I've ever done. But again, it's all preparation to ensure that once you have finished training school, that you're now safe to go out on the streets and act as a firefighter. You know, that period alone, for some that are put onto the first course, which is roughly about April time, you know, you're looking at 8 months. And those that are on the second course, again, you could be waiting for up to a year. So again, anybody that is looking to apply, anyone that feels that they've got what it takes to become a firefighter, you know, it is important that you understand that it's a long journey that you will be on.
Oh, okay. So would you say international students that come into the UK to study are eligible to apply?
Second, sorry?
Would you say international students that come in to study are eligible to apply based on the timeline for the recruitment process?
Yeah. So it all depends on whether you've got status to work in this country. If you've got, if your visa or which you're staying here states that you're able to work, then you can apply.
Yeah, as I know for the black Africans, for the visa, there's tier 4 visa, you have like 20 hours of work.
Yeah.
So would that also work? Because your visa again is dependent on how many years of study you're coming to do. So how does that work for them? Like, do they still get the opportunity to apply?
To be honest, I'm not the best person to speak to in relation to visas and stuff like that. So, but again, any questions like that, I can take them away. Again, because what I don't want to be doing is guessing with an answer, building people up or putting people off with incorrect information. But again, that's quite easy for me to attain. I can speak to the relevant people, get that information, I can relay that back to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sonny. Over to you, Jazz.
Well, same question.
Like next question is for you. So
the hardest thing with this is we don't have the relevant details for people coming in to study. But one thing we do stress is that you must be resident, you must be UK resident.
Oh, okay.
Living in Nottingham, in the Nottinghamshire postcode. So I don't know how that would work if you're just coming here to study for a few years. The thing with the fire service is being a firefighter, it's not a job where people will think, tomorrow I'll apply to be a firefighter because they're recruiting and I'll do it for a few years. It's a vocation, hence why I've been in a job now 8.5 years and I intend to carry on until I retire. It's a career choice. It's not just a job for me. And certainly everybody I know who's in the fire service, and certainly I think might bear me out on this as well. You join it because it's a career for life. So I hope that sort of answers the question in the sense that it's not a job, today I'll be a waiter, tomorrow I'll apply to do something else. This is a career choice. Hence why we're very strict on making sure that people who do apply are going to give back to the community in Nottinghamshire. Hence why you must then be a resident of Nottinghamshire.
Thank you so much, Charles. Talking about recruiting people now, are you also focused on recruiting the Black community into the fire service? Like placing more focus on recruiting the Black community into the fire service?
Is that to me or?
For Jazz.
It's not. Let me correct that. So it's not just Black. The thing that we've got in Nottinghamshire, in Nottinghamshire Fire Rescue Service, we have underrepresentation from Black, Asian, minority, ethnic groups as firefighters, and also female. So we're trying to readdress that balance. Now, what I'm going to say is that the last time when we recruited, some 3 years ago, we had a massive push and a massive, massive advertising and positive action events, which helped to address that balance. But we're still such a long way off. We've got about 12% BAME communities in Nottinghamshire, and unfortunately, the fire service, we're looking about just over 3.5%. So you see the disparity there. In order to redress that, this is one of the reasons why we're here, is to encourage people who perhaps have never thought of the fire service as a go-to job, to look at it as an employer of choice. And we've sort of changed and evolved so much in a very positive way, and we're still changing that. And I think it'll take a number of recruitment drives before we get that balance correct.
Thank you so much, Jazz. Over to you, Sonny. So, talking about progression now in your career as a firefighter, so is there room for career progression?
Yes, certainly. So again, and I'm glad you asked that question, because again, this is kind of like a myth sometimes that people have where they may be put off. Just a bit of my experience. I went to university, did computer programming for 4 years, left there, moved into banking, spent 6 years in banking, and then again the opportunity came across to join the fire service, and it was at that point that I realised. But again, it's about understanding that within the fire service there is great amounts of progression opportunities there. I came in, I started as a firefighter, but I'm quite happy to openly say that I've got aspirations to go as high as I can. So in terms of the way the ranking system works, it starts at firefighter, I'm currently a crew manager, so the next rank up, but then it moves up to watch manager as Jazz is. Then he goes to station, to group, area, and all the way up to the chief fire officer. So starting from the bottom, you have the opportunity to work all the way up. Like at the minute, because of the role that I'm doing, you know, I'm very much office-based at the minute. So I'm involved with the planning, the strategic side in relation to recruitment. But again, there's all different opportunities, building the organisation, organisational development. Jazz has already spoke about his role, all different roles that you know you can aspire to within the fire service. And again, the money goes up as you go up into different ranks. So again, yeah, there is many development opportunities. Whilst, if you was to look at, say, for example, the basic ladder, as you look at it, so crew manager, firefighter, crew manager, watch manager, so forth, all the way to the top, there are also different departments that you can branch off into. So at the minute, like I said, I've branched off into organisational development, but there's opportunities in stuff like fire investigation. So again, the science side, there's been a fire, it's been potentially reported as arson, so they go in, they assess the building, they find out where the seat of the fire started, how the fire started. So they're very much the science side. There's the community interaction side of it. You know, all vast amounts of departments that you can go into. So again, but those that want to join, if they just want to join to be a firefighter, because we always need people that just want to be firefighters, that's fine. But those that have aspirations, that want to go up the rank and look more at a strategic side, you know, those opportunities are there also.
Oh, okay, thank you so much, Sonny.
Can I just add to that as well, please, Henry?
Sure.
So, as he was saying, there is a structure, you know, how we follow progression as a firefighter. But it's also important to note that certainly over the last 3 recruitment drives that we've run, we've learned, and we learn every single time, that what people bring to the job is their life experience. There was a time where firefighters, well, people would join as firefighters at the age of between 18 and mid-20s, and then they stay till they're 50, 55, then retire, having done their career. But what we found over the last 3 recruitment drives, certainly over the last 15 years, is people join the job between the ages of 24 and 35. So, and that needs to be, you know, kept in mind, because they bring with them life experience. They've done jobs like Sonny did, he was a manager in a bank. So those life experiences they bring, they're more vital than anything else. And we look out for people with potential, with a desire to progress. It is hard, it's not easy. For example, in becoming a firefighter, I applied 3 times, I got the 3rd time. So it's not easy to pass all the tests. And it's not easy to become a firefighter, but once you're in the door, you're part of the family, then absolutely, you know, if you want to progress, you'll find encouragement, you'll find role models, and you'll find people who want you to progress as well. So if you have the appetite and the will and desire, you'll get that encouragement.
Thank you so much, Jazz. See on you, Jazz. So, do you want to talk about more about the requirements to become a firefighter, such as age, educational qualifications, or any training qualification you might need?
Well, I'm happy to. Sonny might be best place, but I'll give my bit, and then Sonny can sort of add in the little granular detail. So we no longer have an age limit on becoming a firefighter. So if somebody's out there thinking, I want to become a firefighter, and they're in their 40s or even 50s, then we wholly encourage it. Providing you've got good health and you're fit mentally and physically, you have the desire to become a firefighter, because you're up against a lot of people who are applying at the same time. And there'll be people in amongst those who might be applying for the 2nd time, or the 3rd time, or even the 4th time. You know, like I said before, you just kind of have a desire to become a firefighter. Education-wise, we don't look at your education, not really interested in that. What I expect you to do is have a level of understanding of maths and English. Besides that, you're written and you're verbal, because we're out in the communities and we need people who can engage and have those conversations. And also our tests in-house. You know, there has to be a level of understanding, because there's a lot to learn. So you have to have that level of understanding. But besides that, we'd expect people to have a certain qualification. They need to have the right aptitude, the right attitude. And they're two important things that we look for. Sonny, do you want to add more to that content?
Yeah, just exactly like Jazz said. So, before you would have needed to have had maths and English A to C just to apply for the job. But again, what is that saying? Is that saying that now a 35-year-old individual that's got their own family, maybe even running their own business, have got 20 years of experience from school, that we're going to punish them because when they were 16 they didn't have the head switched on at the time? So again, but at the same time you will be tested. So we spoke about the process itself. One of the processes is the maths, English and mechanical testing, and that is where you'll be testing to ensure that you have the understanding and the grasps of maths and English, that Jazz was saying. So in terms of being able to apply, do I need a qualification in advance? No, because you'll be tested for the requirements. But the most important, exactly like Jazz says, the most important thing, what we're looking for is people. We're looking for the individual. We're looking for that those individuals that have a spark, have something about them that they can bring something different to the job. Because we always talk about diversity, but especially in the fire service, it's not always about diversity in terms of skin colour, gender, sexuality, stuff like that. It's diversity in relation to the way in which you think. If we're only employing one type of person that thinks one type of way, we'll only have one type of product. Now, in relation to the jobs that we go to, the stuff that we have to do, we have to be able to think differently. We have to be able to think on the spot, because we're going to situations, or we're presented with situations that sometimes beforehand we don't have the answer to. So to be able to get that answer, we've got to be able to come together as a crew, as a group, as a department, as a team, and then put your heads together to come out with a solution. And whether that be keeping people safe or just promoting and being good people within the community. The communities of Nottingham need us to be diverse in terms of the way in which we present the information, because everybody is different.
Definitely.
Everybody's different, all equal but different is what, the way I look at stuff. So because of that, we need a fire service that reflects that, and this is why we do the work that we do.
Thank you so much, Tony. So what would you say are the rewards and benefits of being a firefighter?
Everything. It's like, for me, one of the main reasons I joined the fire service, like I said before I joined, I used to work in a bank, and I loved it there. It was good. But it was about, that money situation. Now, I'm not like other people. I'm not driven by money. As long as I've got enough money to keep a roof over my head, food on the table, take my daughter on holiday and stuff like that, then I'm happy. What I search for in life is self-fulfillment, waking up every day knowing that my sole purpose is to help people, is to make a difference, to make a change people's lives. And for me, that's what the fire service gives me. I jokingly say all the time, I still don't feel like I'm going to work because I love what I do so much. So for me, the fire service gives me the opportunity to go to work with a smile, come home from work with a smile, wake up in the morning knowing that I am out there, not just in the community, but in life in general, making a difference. So, we speak to people all the time, and they're asking that, their drive is to give back to the community. Their drive is to make people proud. Now, for me, there is no better job or opportunity out there than the fire service that will give you those opportunities.
Thank you so much, Tony. What about you, Jazz? What's your thoughts on the rewards and benefits of being a firefighter?
I think for me it was, I looked at being a firefighter years ago as a young child. Saw it with rose-tinted glasses, seeing the fire engines go by, fly by actually, and these people in uniform all looking to help the communities that they're in. And I wanted to be a part of that. So for me, being a firefighter is all about helping those people who are vulnerable in our communities, and And there's a great satisfaction that comes from helping somebody. Now, I'm not talking about just rescuing people from fires or the traffic collisions. I'm talking about just reaching out. So during this COVID period, for example, our firefighters mostly have been delivering medication to vulnerable people, have been talking, just on the phone, help those people who are isolated. So if you can brighten somebody's day, then you've done good. And that for me is reaching out to our communities. And there's a lot of vulnerable people in our communities. And to be able to help them, it enriches your life. So for me, I mean, it sounds very, I don't know, whatever it does, but the truth of it is, to be able to help somebody on a daily basis is a positive thing. And that makes you a better person. That makes you feel like a better person. So it's giving back. And the thing is that I say to people, if you do a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And so since being a firefighter, I don't believe I'll work a day in my life because I love the job I do. It's great. I get up in the morning with a buzz, looking forward to what the day will bring, looking forward to the excitement, also to the challenges. There are many. And one of the things I would say is that becoming a firefighter, if you're successful, if you're lucky enough to be successful, it'll change as a person, it'll change the way you think, and not least because of all the places that you go and you see the things you see, and it makes you appreciate what life is about, and how precious it is as well. So yeah, there's great value in that. There's great value.
Thank you so much, Jess. Well, in talking about incentives and rewards, talking about pay brackets, so how would you describe that for a firefighter? How would you describe the pay bracket of a firefighter?
Are you sorry? Me the question? Are you?
Yes.
Okay. I think the reward of within the fire service. So you get the wages are pretty good for the job that we do. Excuse me. The training is fantastic. In Nottinghamshire, we've got some of the best training. We've got some of the best equipment. So you feel relatively safe doing the job that you do. Regards to other rewards, I think the best reward, there's no sort of bonus schemes or anything like that, because we're public sector. You don't have an annual sort of bonus for producing something. We don't produce anything. What we do is we serve the community. And how do you measure that? You only measure it. It's not quantifiable, really. How do you know you've helped somebody? By the way they are with you, from the feedback you get from them, just to know somebody's in a better place because you've helped them. So the reward is in itself is just that. So you don't join the fire service to get a fat bonus at the end of the year, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you so much.
Can I just add to that as well?
Oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so just to give a bit more context to those that are wondering, so the way in which it would work, if you was successful, you'd be put onto a training course. So that training course lasts for 12 weeks at our service development centre. This is where we give you all the, basically you just run through everything. You get a grasp of all the techniques that you need, all the, to work within emergencies. During that 12-week period, your wages would be, again, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's about £23,000, 23. And you're on that for 12 weeks. Once you've completed training school, so after that 12-week period, it then goes up to 25,500. Then, whilst you're on that amount of money, you're classed as being in development, so you're still learning. So whilst you're at training school, you're learning to be safe. Then once you've passed training school, you're still in development, so you're still learning, but it's now in which you're putting the training that you've done into real life situations. So you will now be on station, attending real fires, attending real cars, crashes and so forth. Whereas at training school, it's all simulated and they'll put it together for you. Once you've met the criteria in terms of passing assessments during your development period, usually 16 months to 2 years to 24 months, once you've completed that period, your wages then go up to £31,000. So again, you go from in development, as soon as you've completed, you then get a £6,000 increase in your wages. Then as you go through ranks again, you've got development stage and then you've got competence stage. Crew manager goes up to 34, then watch manager goes up further. It is key to understand though that, for example, off the top of my head, so something like the area manager, is it 50,000, Jazz? Area manager, about 50. On top of that, they get a 20%.
So the area managers, you're looking about 60.
60, sorry.
Crew
And on top
manager,
of,
you're looking about 50.
yeah, so on top of that 60, they get extra 20% as well, which is basically a call out. So for major incidents, whilst they do generally a 9 to 5 job as an area manager, strategically planning, running, managing the whole service as a whole, they'll have a little pager. So if there's a major incident or an incident that requires great level of supervision or control, they would call out from home. So then on top of that, they get 20%. So again, you know, for myself personally, they are competitive wages, especially once you do become competent as a firefighter. You know, those wages do jump up. Another thing to understand as well in terms of, you know, what's good about the job is the work-life balance that you get from the job. So the shift patterns that we work at the minute, it's 2-day shifts, 2 night shifts, 4 days off. 2-day shifts, 2 night shifts, 4 days off. So you do 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening, 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening, they're your 2-day shifts, and then 7 in the evening till 7 in the morning, they're your night shifts, so forth. So you do that, you get 4 days off. So again, that work-life balance that you get with those 4 days off away from work, again, these aren't 4 days in which, well, you might even get a call if we need. No, they're your days off. They're time for you to recuperate, time for you to spend with your family and so forth. Bit of context into that. So if you used to use 4 days annual leave, you'd be off for 12 days because you got your 4 days off, you've booked off 4. So again, just to use 4 days annual leave, you're off for 12 days. So again, all, you know, booking holidays with your family over Christmas period, all these times that you may need off, you know, it really helps. We spoke earlier in relation to like, you know, the service look after you both physically and mentally. So we have occupational health. So again, they're there to ensure that the best you's coming to work, whether that be, you know, physically, that you're in shape, but also that you know, your mind's strong as well. So there's, you know, there's many other benefits now. For me, it is the self-fulfillment, the competitive wages, the shift patterns, you know, all different things that, you know, is added to. But again, one of the biggest things is the fact that you're given the opportunity to be a role model, like a real genuine role model to the community as a whole. And I would pay for that. The opportunity to, you know, you walk down the street and the love and the respect that you get from the community because they know that your job is there to save lives. Your job is there to make a difference. And, you know, whilst, you know, wearing this shirt comes with a lot of responsibility, it's not a responsibility that sits heavy on your shoulders. It's nice. So you walk down, like yesterday we was doing leaflet drops, giving out posts and stuff down Radford and Icing Green, and the response that you get, it's overwhelming because it's love, it's respect, it's them wanting to engage, and you know, and that's what it's about with this job sometimes. It's about, like I said before, it's about giving back, and that love that they give us, it's brilliant.
Thank you. You talked about talking with the community more about the fighting services. So during this period of COVID, how do you manage that? Since obviously you can't see people face to face to speak with them, so how do you manage that?
Yeah, so usually we would, you know, to engage with people, to get them interested in the career, you know, we would be out there putting on awareness days. So you'd come along, we'd put you in a fire kit, you'd see that, again, it's all about this. For us, and me and Jazz, sometimes the biggest thing is about dispelling myths. People have a self-perceived perception of what they believe the fire service is. So it's about us trying to calm that down, break down those barriers and have those discussions. But due to COVID, you know, it's become more, well, it's very difficult. We can't do the face-to-face stuff. We can't have events where people are coming and have a go. So alternative, what we've done is we've got into, you know, we've used technology. So we're doing webinars. So for example, next week, next Friday, we've got a webinar at 6:30, so it'll be a way again for you to understanding what the role is, understand what the role of the fire service play, what role firefighters play, how the recruitment process is going to work, what you're going to be required to do, but then more importantly, what advice can we give you to how to prepare? Because it's all good running into something blind and just thinking, I want to be a firefighter. You still have to have an understanding of how to become a firefighter. So this is what the webinars do. But again, it also gives you the opportunity to ask any questions. Because again, I'm very open. If anybody's got any questions, if you see the posters, or if you hear me on the radio and stuff like that, I put out my mobile number, and I'll give it at the end of this session as well. I'll give out my email address. So if anybody's got any questions, concerns, just, something that will set that light in the back of the head where, this is what I want to do. Pick up the phone, text me, email me, and I'll answer them.
Yeah, if you don't mind, we'd like to have that at the end of the program, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Okay. Over to you, Jazz. Talking about the physical aspect of firefighting, is there a kind of support to cater for the mental aspects of firefighting?
Yeah, lots. So, for example, we don't leave anybody just to get on and become a firefighter. It just doesn't work that way. One of my main ethics and ethos is that you will get support, and we encourage teamwork. So I'm going to use a phrase which you're very familiar with. We're a family. We're inviting people to join our family. Now, when you become a part of a family, you'll find that everybody has different strengths and they have different weaknesses. But as a family, you get through things together. So we use the same analogy as a firefighter. So, for example, whoever's successful that starts a course, what we find is they bond really quickly. And they bring a support structure of that group. And we see it evolve over the course of the 12 weeks of training. But then they never lose that. And what they do is they end up having friends for life. And when they go on stations, no matter what station they go to, then that support mechanism and structure becomes bigger, because then you're part of another family, which is on your watch, because you're part of that watch as well. So you're never away from that teamwork and that family structure. And then there's a wider family structure, which is Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service. And we're very, I think we're very affable and we're very welcoming. But whoever comes within our family, we'll give them support. We have off-station support as well, so you're never left. We have mentoring regularly, so as soon as you join the fire service, you'll have a mentor. When you go on station, you'll have a mentor. So as you develop and grow, you're never left by yourself. And you're encouraged to grow as well. And also bring your own life skills to your job. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Jazz. So we have some questions coming in from viewers now. And the first question is the role of a firefighter mostly about stopping fire itself, or are there other areas where their role is needed in the society? I think we've touched a bit of that.
I don't think we did. I think when it started again. So I'll touch on that.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So it is key to understand that, so always look at the badge and it says Fire and Rescue Service. So, whilst TV and, the media may paint it as being the fire service, it is key to understand and look at the word rescue. So we do attend road traffic collisions, hazardous materials, explosions, people stuck at height, animal rescues, floods, people stuck in water, drowning, stuff like that. We do a lot of work in collaboration with the police, with the ambulance service, so gaining entry into premises if people need saving. All these different roles in which the fire service play. But again, it's key to understand that, we are an emergency service, and that's the emergency element, but we do a lot of prevention and education as well. So, it's not just about being reactive to fires, it's about preventing them. So we educate people on how to keep safe, we educate people on how to keep the family safe. We go out to schools at a young age and speak to them about the dangers of not just fires, but RTCs, waters. But again, on top of that, it's about being there for the community. So, you know, you will see us at places like Eid, the Carnival, Mela, Pride, all these different events that will be there. Again, just as reassurance to the public to know that if you need us, we're there. At the worst case scenario, you know, we'll be there ready for them.
Thank you so much, Sonny. Jazz, this next question is for you. It says, can I still apply if I have the fear of heights?
I've got a fear of heights.
And I've got fear of heights. We are born naturally to have a fear of heights.
Yeah.
We're not looking for people who are superheroes.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. The fear of height is a natural fear. So what we do is we train people to know their equipment. So when you're going up a ladder, you focus on what the task that you're meant to do. So having fear of height is the most natural thing, and it shouldn't stop anybody from applying. So does that answer that question?
Yes, it does. Okay, go ahead, please.
But it is key to, so you will be tested, but again, it's not to test. Basically, there's a height there. Can you climb that ladder? Follow instruction, and do as you say. You'll be in harnesses. You will be protected, but it's about, can you overcome that potential fear that you may have to get the job done. We're not expecting people to be hanging off it upside down and jumping off and stuff like that. Because like I said, natural fear of heights, you know, I'm not really built to be off the ground myself, so I don't feel comfortable. But again, if need be, if there's life up there, I will go up there. But again, so it's, in terms of having a fear of heights, it's natural. But it's, can you overcome that to get the job done kind of thing.
Thank you so much, Sonny. Over to you, Jazz. I think this question is talking about the basic day-to-day activity of a firefighter. It says, how busy does it get for a firefighter?
So our days are full, extremely full. If I go back to answer this question, I go back to the previous question about how many fires do we attend. Now we attend only about 5% of the jobs that we go to are actually fires in buildings, because we spent, certainly in my career, a lot of that time being proactive, as Sunny mentioned, and ensuring that buildings and properties are safe because they've got smoke detectors and smoke alarms, and have a good fire safety knowledge. Now that said, we still do go out to jobs, we still go out to fires, where they're in the open or they're building fires, because accidents happen. So we always train every day that you're on duty, irrespective, of how long you've been in a job. You will train, and we train so that we can be reactive when the time comes. We don't just train to put out fires. We train to, road traffic collisions, as Sue mentioned, other rescues as well. But our job is evolving and it's changing. And it's changed to the point where we now do a lot of safe and well visits. And what they are is going out into the community, the most vulnerable people in our community, are working alongside our partner agencies and going to their homes and making sure that they are safe, or if they need support from other agencies, it's signposting them as well. Because we have a lot of vulnerable people in our communities. So that's become a major part of our role. So on a day-to-day basis, there is a certain structure where you'll parade on, which means you'll stand to attention, you'll be given your duties for the day, and what part of the truck that you're responsible for, and what you'll be doing during that course of that day. But that's not the core business. Our core business is make sure we're fit, because we have gyms at our workplaces and on our stations, and make sure that we have the proper training in place as well, so that we're training new skills all the time. There are a period of 12 months, we train with all of our equipment. And there's a lot of equipment, a lot of specialist equipment that we use as well. So we do that as well. And then we'll go out into the community as well. So our community working is really on balance with everything else that we do now. I would say probably half and half.
Okay, speaking on training, so is it right to assume that after the recruitment process, the training continues throughout the whole period of being a firefighter?
So the recruitment process isn't training itself. The recruitment process It's finding people who are able to become firefighters, to have the right values, the right behaviours, the right mental attitude, and the aptitudes I mentioned before. So that's what the recruitment process is. It's finding a person who you think, you know what, we'd like to have them in our family. Once you're recruited, you are a trainee. Then we have intense training at our training centre up in Alton, where you'll be going there for 12 weeks. And that's where you start to learn what a firefighter is. And it is intense. You know, you're tested and you're given the skills. At the end of those 12 weeks, there's a passing out which celebrates that you've successfully finished your training up to this part. Then you become a development firefighter. And then you spend the next 18 months developing those skills you've learned in the real world, as Sunny mentioned earlier on. And that is attending incidents, learning your craft, and becoming that fully rounded firefighter. When that happens, then you become a firefighter. Then you start your journey of becoming a firefighter. And this is what I said to you about earlier on. You're always learning, you're always developing. There's new systems in place, new ways of working, new tools that we have, so that you're always evolving, always growing.
But just, I'd like to add something on that as well, is one of the things that I love about the job as well is that no one day is the same. You may well have planned in that we are going to be doing drills and we're going to be doing all this community work, and then all of a sudden those alarms go and that goes out the window, and then you're going out there to save people. So, you know, you're constantly on your toes, and like that Jess said, you're always learning. You know, there's always stuff for you to learn, there's always stuff to advance you as a person. So, you know, that's a major thing that I take from the job as well.
Thank you so much, Sonny. To our viewers at home, you can send in more questions via Slido. Instructions on how to do that is on the screen. Just to go further on the community service you provide as firefighter, apart from educating, sorry, the questions for you, Sonny, apart from the educating people about what firefighting is all about and the rules of a firefighter, do you also provide other services to the community, apart from the webinars and the seminars and the talk shows?
In relation to recruitment?
Yes, in relation to
recruitment. So again,
or any service in general.
Yeah, so we've got the webinars in terms of like an introduction. So again, it goes over the role of a firefighter, the fitness requirements, advice on how to prepare, the process ahead. But then we also do mentoring sessions as well, so they're separate. So the mentoring sessions will go over maths and English questions. We'll go over stuff like the values of what the service are, so understanding what the service stands for, and then it's about you then being able to pull life experiences that reflect the different values in which we have. We go over stuff like the PQAs, which are the personal quality attributes. Again, these are attributes that we would expect people to be able to not be able to tell you what they are, but they're living them already. So they understand what equality and diversity is. The team players, the good communicators, they're driven to develop themselves. They don't just sit where they are. So these are like the qualities, and again, Google them. Just Google PQAs, personal quality attributes of a firefighter, and there's a list, and these are all the qualities. So again, we'd go through them, and we'd help people to be able to understand, their own life sometimes, because and again, this is people in general. When it comes to the interview, you're sat in front of someone. So we've said, for example, that we have base level strength requirements, we have base level fitness requirements, we have base level maths and English requirements. What will get you the job at the end of the day is you as the person. So you need, when the process comes about, you need to be able to understand yourself better and be able to, when somebody asks you a question, talk about yourself confidently, because some people struggle to talk about themselves in a positive life, become modest and stuff like that. Now, that's not to say become cocky, but you need to find that equilibrium between being cocky and being confident, and you get that nice in the middle, because at the end of the day, and this is no exaggeration, come this recruitment process, the 24th of August, we will have up to 1,000 applicants after a 2-3 day period. 1,000 people wanting to be involved with, like what we say, the greatest job in the world. So you need to prepare yourself to understand the best you. Because again, sat in front of an interview panel, if we ask you a question, we don't know you, and you need to be able to tell us about you, because if you don't tell us, then we won't understand. So me and Jazz do a lot of mentoring sessions, looking at stuff like mind mapping and stuff like that, getting people to understand themselves and having the confidence to talk about their achievements. Because, you know, as people, we're quite modest. We don't we just keep it on a, you know, yeah. And then all of a sudden you find, like, there's one gentleman, he'd sit there and he'd try and give you a, you know, he got into the job, thankfully, but we talk. But I know his backstory. Yeah. So when, like, you're talking, he'd do everything he could to not mention like, he got to the final of Britain's Got Talent, and you're like, talk about that. Be proud of that. That's mad. People, not everybody can walk through life doing stuff like that, so be proud of that. And yet he wanted to, like, do everything but mention that. And I'm like, here I am. I'd come with a T-shirt on and everything. But again, so the mentoring sessions that we do is empowering people to have that confidence to speak about themselves, but also know how to structure their answers. Because again, it's all good sitting here for 30 minutes just waffling on. You've got to be able to structure your answer in a certain way. So again, that's what the mentoring sessions and the coaching sessions are about.
Okay, so in addition to the webinars and the seminar you give to the community, you also have the mentoring section. Okay.
But to be able to be invited to mentoring sessions, you have to have attended a webinar. So we've got one more webinar next week, Friday, and that'll be at 6:30. So again, at the end of the session, I'll make sure I give the details for anybody that wants to get hold of me. And again, you literally pick up the phone, give me a call, and I can get you booked on. Send you the link in details so you can get onto the webinar via Zoom. And again, just listen, hear what we've got to say, see if we can set the fire again. Sorry for the pun, but set the fire in the back of your mind to say, you know what, this is what I want to do. As COVID starts to change again, for those that have, so we spoke about the way in which it works, application, maths and English, the physical side. So the physical tests aren't going to start till October. So there's a period there. So once we've passed the application and we have a number of people ready, we can then offer fitness sessions as well. So those that are worried about doing the bleep test, those that are worried about the fitness, the strength side, again, we'll be able to put on fitness sessions again so that you can start preparing yourself. Already, we use YouTube to put on weekly fitness sessions that people can log on to. It's a 30-minute session, a bit of a circuit and stuff like that. Again, all set about by our occupational health team. So they're putting forward various ways to help people to prepare for the fitness. Because again, it's about, especially like females and stuff like that, it's about making them understand the requirements of what's needed in strength. So that, again, they're not going into it blind, they're preparing beforehand so that when the tests come, that they're as prepared as they can be.
Okay. The webinar for next week, just to clarify, it is free.
Oh, of course, good.
Just to clarify. Yeah. Okay.
But even with that question, again, we laugh, Jazz, when people ask us those questions, because being in the fire service, nothing is about, for us, nothing is about money. It is about doing not necessarily doing the right thing, because people need to live, but our sole purpose is being role models. Our sole purpose is out there changing. We get paid at the end of it, thankfully and stuff like that. But more importantly, we don't even think about that. We don't have to think about the money side. We concentrate on community. We concentrate on helping people.
Thank you so much, Jazz. I'm sorry, Sonny. Over to you, Jazz.
I'm the good-looking one, easy.
Talking about each phase of the recruitment process, is there a quota of applications that you receive on a daily basis that you accept at each stage of the recruitment process?
Let me answer that one by just giving you a bit of a background. When I applied, which was 20 years ago, 2,500 people applied at the same time. So
Wow.
imagine there were only 36 jobs.
Wow.
There were only 36 jobs. There are 3 courses of 12, and 2,500 people applied. That was a third to my apply. So it's a very much sought after job. In order for us to manage it, we have external companies who manage the sifting process. So we don't actually look at a lot of, in fact, we don't look at any of the data until we've sort of gone through. So we have a set criteria. And if you don't pass that criteria, then you won't go to the next stage. So we can't really say, well, X amount of people will go through X percentage. What I can say is that we do have a very strict sifting process. And if you don't reach the criteria, you're not going to make the next sift. And as a service, we want the very best people to come through. The sifting process is very strict, very tight. And if you've made it to interview, it's down to you to get through. And one of the things that Sunny's mentioned is about preparation. So preparation prevents poor performance. You must prepare. There's so much data out there, so much information. There's the webinars that Sunny mentioned. There's our website. If you're going for a job, you try and find out about the job and the organisation you want to work for, if that's where your heart is. The ones who fall by the wayside will be the ones who think, well, I'll just apply and see where I get. You're not going to get very far. Because our standards are high. We want the best, the best, the best. Because we expect them, when they come into the job, to stay for the rest of their career, and to become part of the family. So we have to be strict. Hence why it took me 3 attempts to get in.
Oh, okay, thank you. Is there, just to add, is there like a retirement age for firefighter?
No.
No.
Right, there isn't an age. You can join whatever age you want to join. You retire when you've had enough, or your body says can't take anymore. And the thing is, my knees are starting to creak now, which is not a good sign. So I'll be looking at retirement in the next 6 to 10 years. You naturally your body is fatigued because we push through so much. Fitness is key to our job, absolutely key.
In terms of applying, though, so whilst there is no upper age limit, there is a minimum age limit, and you have to be 18 by the time of the first course. So the process due to start in August. The first course, though, the 12-week training course, that's due to start in April 2021. So you have to be 18 by the time of that age as a minimum.
As a minimum, okay. And just the minimum age is just 18. So you said the recruitment process is going to open August 24th?
Yes.
So when is it going to close? Or is it just going to open for a very long period of time? Okay, you mentioned April 2021.
Yeah, it's not fully been decided yet. So it may well be that they leave it open for a period, so that could be 5 days, or they may well close it when they hit a certain amount of applications. So they may set the benchmark at, once we get 500 applications, then we'll close it. Again, that's not been decided yet. So again, but those that are coming forward, I'll be in contact with them and then I can notify them of the situation.
Okay. You mentioned something earlier, Sonny, about you having 4 days leave off. So does that also apply to on-call firefighters? So
on-call is different. So whole time, your primary job is that of a firefighter. So the whole time system way in which it works is we have 12 whole time fire stations in and around the county, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. There is a crew ready to act out of that fire station all the time. So especially in Nottingham, you're looking at your London roads, you're looking at Colton, West Bridgeford, Arnold, Stockhill. you'll drive past them, you'll always see fire engines, you may always see bits of movement where it'd be lights on, so people are always there, ready to react. Whereas on call, to become an on-call firefighter, it's not your primary job. So your primary job may be a gym instructor, just off the top of my head. You work Monday to Friday, 8 till 4, but then you apply to be an on-call firefighter, but then the hours that you're able to give the fire service is, I don't know, 6 till 1 in the morning that you're available. So you won't actually be staying on the station all the time. You'll have a pager at home, and if there is an incident within that area, then you will be called to then get to the station. The biggest thing as well is you have to live within 5 minutes travel distance of that particular station. You will predominantly, you will find that on-call stations are in not necessarily quieter areas, but more outskirt areas. So you've got places like Eastleigh, Blythe, Misterton, Bingham, all these outer where there's less people living, because they don't need that level of not supervision but control in terms of having a fire station there. So sometimes you may drive past these fire stations and it looks like they're shut down, like there's no one ever there. But if there is an incident in and around that area, or a major incident where they need extra people to come, that's when that station will come alive and people will rush there and get there. So the whole time is full-time, whereas on-call is part-time. To apply for whole time, you only have to live within the county. But you have to live within the county. You need to be paying council tax to one of the boroughs. So City, Gedling, Broxtowe, all these different areas. So to be able to apply, you only have to live within the boundaries of the county. Whereas on call, you have to live within 5 minutes of that particular fire station. I didn't say that, I forgot. Yeah.
Okay, just to emphasize on what you just talked about on the on-call firefighter, does it mean that you don't necessarily have to be in the office as long as you have your pager with you and you can immediately go to where the fire is happening?
Yeah. So you wouldn't say, for example, you're at home, you wouldn't go straight from home to the incident. You'd go from home to the station. So you have to live within 5 minutes of the station. But again, a lot of our on-call stations are, they're not in the inner city area. We do not have any on-call stations in the inner city. All the inner cities are whole time.
Okay. So this present recruitment process, is it for both the on-call and the whole-time firefighter?
No. The Yes You Can campaign is for whole-time firefighters.
Oh, okay. Not on-call firefighter.
Not on-call firefighter.
Oh, okay. Over to you, Jazz. What advice would you give the new applicants?
What advice would I give?
Yes.
So I said about preparation. In order to prepare properly, come to the webinars. So listen to what Sonny and his team have got to say about the job, about the role, ask the questions, and also look on our website. So learn about what our values are. And if they're aligned to your values, or your values exceed our values, and you feel that this is the job for you, then apply. You must apply. It is stiff competition. It's a very competitive process. It's a lot of people who've tried for many years to join the fire service. So it's not easy, but then the job isn't easy. But the satisfaction is great. And like I said, it's not a job to me. I love this. As Sonny does, it becomes a part of you. So if this has driven you or piqued your interest, then there's no question of doubt that you must apply. But in order to make sure that you put your best foot forward, seek that advice, seek the help that we're offering you, and come to webinars, and then we will absolutely help wherever we can. But we'll open the door. You must walk through it yourself.
But also with that, again, just expand on what Jazz said. Understand the job that you're applying for. So we will speak all day, but you need to do your own research. And whilst predominantly we spoke about the positives of the job, it is key to understand that, you know, you will see blood, you will see serious injury, and you will see death in this job. You know, you won't save everybody. So understand that you will have to work at height, you will have to work when it's snowing. You know, like I said, 365 days a year, no excuse of, I couldn't get to work today because it was snowing. You know, the people in Nottingham need you just as much when it's snowing. So that's not, you know, not saying it's an excuse, but we can't use that as a reason. Or, you know, all these different things. If you don't book it off, you may work Christmas, you may miss birthdays, you may miss your children's birthdays. But it's all sacrifices, all things that you have to make to live the life of a firefighter. Like for me, it's the biggest reward possible. So, you know, sometimes the small sacrifices give the big rewards. But it's about understanding that. On top of that, also realise that it is a discipline service to an extent. So whilst you are at training school, you will be presented with a lot of command and control instructions. So again, it's not the army, it's not military, but there are elements that we incorporate in our training. So you will be asked to stand up straight. They will shout and give you instructions to do. Why? Because again, it's about putting you under pressure to handle that pressure. Because again, once you're out in the real world, and the pressure isn't necessarily people shouting, it's the pressure of saving life, it's the pressure of having to work fast to get people out and so forth. So to be able to prepare you for that, whilst you're at training school, you will be put for, you'll be put in circumstances in terms of command and control, get this done. Because again, if we're working with time scales to save people's lives, you've not always got that opportunity to have a debate, have this discussion. It literally is, right, Esther, I need you to go and do that now. You've got to go and do it. It's not being horrible, it's not being rude, but again, that's what's needed to save life. So again, understand that the job that you're preparing for, because we've had people before where, you know, they get through there, then somebody's like telling them to hurry up, and they're like, I'm not worried. And you're like, no, this is the job. Understand what you're applying for. To get into the castle, as I like to put it, the fire service is the big castle. You've got to work. You've got to work, and you've got to put the time and effort in. I mentioned before, don't kid yourself. And this is what and sometimes we use these sessions, the webinars, as natural deselection, because there's no point just coming along because you like the idea of being a firefighter. You're talking about 1,000 of Nottingham's best people, the best people from all communities wanting to be involved and wanting to live the career of being a firefighter. So you need to make sure that you prepare. Me and Jazz can help you as much as we can. And the way you're looking at 100-meter dash, we'll do as much as we can to support, to educate, to mentor, be a role model to get you on that line. Once that gun goes, it's you that's got to do the running. And if you've not prepared enough, then you will not get to the end. You'll be left behind by others. So again, that's just to emphasise. Come the 24th, that's when all the people are going to be coming out. But me and Jazz are here to help as many people as we can that want that level of support, want that level of encouragement, want to be able to have those conversations to ensure that, you know, they are best prepared.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Can I just add to that, if I may?
Oh, go ahead, please, Jazz.
Yeah, so just to add to what Tony said, it's a great job. It's really satisfying. But the fire rescue part of it is always safety critical, always time critical. And we expect a certain amount of discipline. So some of it you learn at training centre, the rest of it you need to bring yourself. So you've got to be self-disciplined. Hence why the process is hard. You've got to be disciplined enough to go through the process, to be successful, and then go through training school. And like I said, you may get shouted at, you may not. The fact is that you've got to be prepared for what comes, because in the real world, there's people's lives at stake, people's livelihoods at stake, and we have to be on point, absolutely on point, in order to be able to save property and save life. And that's why it is what it is, and that's why we're as strict as we are. And we're lucky to be, Sunny and I are lucky to be doing this job. You know, we've worked hard to get to where we're at. Sunny's a crew manager, I'm a watch manager. You know, in time, in years to come, we'll progress, and there'll be others behind us. And I'm hoping that they'll come from our communities where we have deficiencies within our service.
Thank you so much, Jazz. We're rounding up now. Our time is past spent. Just for our viewers at home that the questions have not been answered, would you like to drop your contact? This is for Jazz and Sonny. For anybody that have any follow-up questions, so they can contact you after the program.
Yeah, so I would say anybody that does have any questions, whether it be concerns or interest, please email me. Because again, it may be that one question that could change your life. So if it is in the back of your mind, something that you want to go for it. If you're interested, go for it. To email me, contact me at yes, so it's YESU can, YOU, and then can at not, NOTTS, -fire.gov.uk. So that's gov.gov.uk. Alternatively, I ain't going to lie, I've not got my telephone on me right now, so don't call me straight away after this, but, you know, text in or give me a call later on 07812 658 532. That's 07812 658 532.
Thank you so much, Sonny. What about you, Jess? Would you like to leave your contact?
It's all through me.
So the recruitment campaign is all done through the Yes You Can, and Sunny's the lead on it. But you can contact me, not a problem, through Sunny. If you've got direct questions for myself, happy to answer them, and we will, not a problem.
Thank you so much, Jess. So we've come to the end of today's program. Thank you so much, Jazz and Sonny, for coming here today. It was really a nice time having you guys with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.